Okay. Hello, Andreas. How are you doing?
Sergio, great to connect. Things are great. Very cold in New York today. It's -3 Celsius, but as you can see, I'm in the office and just catching up. So all things are great. Yeah, getting ready for the holidays.
Yeah, we are here in Guadalajara nowadays, but it's different cold. It's different season here in Mexico. And thank you very much for this conversation. I would like to introduce to our audiences who are you, what is your work, what the brand that you represent makes for the music industry.
Oh, very happy to do so. But first, let me say I always enjoy visiting Guadalajara. Last time I was there was 90 degrees Fahrenheit, which was nice and warm, and always meet very great, friendly people. So excited to come and visit the next one as well. So my name is Andreas Katsambas. I'm president of Chartmetric for about 3 years now. I come from the music world. So all my career, I worked with artists. I was on the record label side, and I've done anything you can imagine from discovering talent, signing them, working on the budgets, taking to the studio, promotion, getting on tour, uh, seeing them performing at festivals, including some amazing ones, which I had artists headlining in Mexico as well. So I've been doing that for many, many years. And one thing I realized is that the music industry was getting very complex. It was getting global, many more ways to promote artists, many more ways to get the music out there. So it was getting more challenging, but more exciting as well. And I always felt that technology was really helping music grow and push it forward. So during the pandemic, when everything kind of slowed down when it comes to music, artists couldn't get out, they couldn't even, do much. I wanted to shift more into the tech, okay? Still keeping the music world, but tech related. Why? I still thought tech was really moving forward and building up and helping the music industry. So I hit up my contacts, and the founder of Chartmetric called me right away, saying that they were growing nicely. There was a lot of amazing talent in the company, but he wanted people with some music experience as well. So he suggested I come in and kind of be the bridge between tech and the music industry, which I thought it was, kind of bring two things that I really like and enjoy together. And I knew him for 3, 4 years at the point. I was using Chartmetric extensively. So I joined in 2021, and it has been amazing since then. I've seen the music industry coming back very, very strong. Live sector, I've seen many new talents
Yes.
blowing up from many different parts of the world. You know, Latin America being on the forefront of that as well, which has been amazing, especially Mexico. Some fantastic artists coming from there lately too. So our goal at Chartmetric is to help anyone in the music industry, including artists, managers, record label people, agents, you
Yes.
name it, utilize data to help their artists grow their careers. So it's been fun. I've seen Chartmetric changing a lot and adding a lot more features, bringing more data. But also when I travel, and I speak to people in the industry and a lot of our users, I've seen the value of data getting more impactful. And I always say data is there to help you out.
Okay.
Supplement what you do, develop your career, get some answers. So I've been seeing that growing a lot. So it's been fun. And from what I can tell, things are getting more complex, things are getting more challenging. There's more releases out there, there's more artists out there. So we always strive to say how can we can help more. So every day you probably, if you connect with me, I may have something different and new to present. Why?
Yes.
Because there's just more challenges. So it's been exciting.
Okay.
Really, really fun ride so far. So very
Thank
enjoyable.
you. Thank you, Andreas. I would like to ask you what emerging trends are shaping the current landscape of the music industry according to Chartmetric's data?
Yes. I mean, that's a great question. I can give you some context in some areas. It might not be full comprehensive, but things I've seen. One, there is more releases coming out on a daily basis.
Okay.
I have 120 million tracks
Wow.
in our system, 11 million artists. Last time I checked, over 120,000 artists just from Mexico alone. Many different types of music, from regional Mexican to pop to hip hop to rock, heavy metal, you name it, which is great. It's
Okay.
very, very healthy, vibrant scene. But at the same time, well, before it was expensive to go in the studio, expensive to get distribution, get your music into shops. Now people can record music just from their laptop and they can instantly, within 24 hours, have the music out there. So the biggest challenge is getting attention, building up a fan base, getting them to listen to your music, engage, develop them for the long term. So to me, that's always a challenge. But the first step I found out is always the most difficult. As you start getting traction
Yes.
and you start building up a base, it gets easier to build on that.
Mm-hmm.
So what I found out, it's always most difficult when you start. But with the music industry, there's many ways to promote your music. There's many ways to engage to your audience. There's Instagram, there's YouTube, there's TikTok, Spotify playlist. I mean, there's many, many ways to do that. So once you find your lane and you see something connecting, it's easier to build on that. Two, yes, it's getting more complex, but you're not limited to your own local market. You can go global. So you never know where success is going to come from. So keep an eye on that, see what works, and build where your success is coming from. I had artists from the US that the first breakthrough was in Southeast Asia, Philippines, or maybe Brazil. You never know. Three, also what's great, you can do any kind of music. I say just be authentic. Work the music that you like because there's just so much out there. If you do something that's quality and it really speaks to you and you think it's authentic, hopefully you're going to find the right audience to get behind it and build that up. So don't just stick to the main genres. Artists can come from many small genres, from a niche genre. It doesn't matter. Do what you have to do, believe in it, be authentic, quality music, find the right audience and it connects.
Right.
Am I saying all this? Because if you look into Chartmetric and you look at your data points, you can see quickly where is my audience, in what market, how quickly it's growing, what platform is connecting for me. And once you start getting an idea, then you can get behind it and build on that a lot faster. And if you have a success on TikTok, let's say, then you need to move quickly because if you don't see that and you don't get behind it, by tomorrow, let's say, or shortly after, a lot of those people that supported you may move somewhere else. So, data helps you kind of be nimble and quick at the same time.
Sure, it's great. How has changed the way artists discover and connect with their audiences in the digital era? Talking about different audiences, as you said before, in the global scenario, and how has changed that? How was before and how is today? And how Chartmetric is helping artists to connect?
Yeah, great question. I'm going to show my age now by how it was done back in the early days. It's amazing because even artists wouldn't release official songs at the beginning. They will make demos.
Okay.
Let's say I'm going to go to the studio. I'm going to record a couple songs, put it on a cassette, and then go to some shows in my area, in my market, in my local city, perform, give away tapes, go visit the radio station, go visit the record store, and start building up this very small audience, most cases on a very local base. Then if you get signed to a label, the label will give you an advance, meaning give you some money to go to the studio, and they will handle a lot of the marketing. Bring a PR person to help you get some press,
Yes.
take it to radio, and during the MTV era, obviously, video. Then we had YouTube. Then the floodgates open and it's social media. What has changed a lot since then, and I've seen it especially with starting artists, in addition to them being in control of their music, now they have direct control to building up their audience. You know what I mean? Like social media has been the most impactful way of doing it. Yes, you can be added to a playlist on Spotify, New Music Friday, you know, Viva Latino, any of those, or an influencer can pick you up on TikTok and help you grow. But in most cases, the artists are developing a direct relationship with their audience. Instagram is a great example, X or Twitter, as it used to be called, YouTube, you know, by building up your channels. And what's amazing when a record label signs an artist now is not just on the strength of their music, it's also on the strength of their social media followers and numbers. So labels now is almost asking for a full package, meaning the artist has to build, you know, the ecosystem themselves and do that. But even if they sign to a label, the artist still controls the narrative. They still have the direct access to the audience. And to me, that's an amazing time to be an artist because you decide on your music, but you also build your relationship with the artist, which puts you in full control of your career, which is amazing. Now, if you get a label to support you, great. But if not, there's still enough tools to do it on your own. Obviously, it's not easy to do that. Too many data points, too many growth areas, audience can be varied or in multiple places. And that's what Chartmetric does. Gives you like a full profile of what's working, what's connecting in one easy place to look at. And not just for yourself, but all the other 11 million artists as well. You know, so it makes it a lot easier to look at similar artists, figure out trends, see where my potential markets might be, best platforms, everything else as well.
Andreas, is it true that the millennials, centennials, and the younger ones has a wider menu of genres of music, or it's not true? What is happening with the audiences?
Yeah, it's a great observation. I mean, maybe for us growing up, we used to have a favorite artist, obviously, and we couldn't just go listen to everything and anything. I mean, buying a CD when I was in college, it was $20 plus tax. So I had limited funds. I could only buy maybe 1 or 2 CDs a month, meaning I couldn't be exposed to a lot of music. I had to be selective with what I would purchase. And then I relied on radio. But radio, you know, radio stations, they would only play certain formats, classic rock, pop, you know, alternative. So that was exposure we were getting. Now, audiences can get exposed to all kinds of music. I mean, you can be on TikTok and every video you shift, it's a different style. Same with the playlisting on Spotify. You know, I prefer playlist on Spotify, not based on genres, but based on moods. Morning coffee playlist, let's say. You know what I mean? Like,
I have.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so very, very diverse, very different. You can have music coming from many parts of the world. It can be K-pop, it can shift to reggaeton, then Afrobeats, which we didn't have that before. There wasn't that many, you know, music movements coming from different parts of the world. It was mostly US, it was mostly UK, you know, like it was a bit more controlled before. So now there's just so much more diversity. And I think people get exposed to that. And it, you know, makes a more varied palette of the kind of music they like. And I think festivals adopted a bit of that as well. So it kind of became more common now to have different kinds of music, which to me makes it very healthy. I mean, it's amazing to be able to have all that kind of exposure of music, different cultures, all kinds of stuff. So yeah, great time to be music right now.
Very interesting. So music consumption habits has changed, no? Have changed a lot. And it's not the genre, it's only the genre. It's also the occasion, the moment, and my mood, no? How you say it. That's very interesting because consumption is more sophisticated, you know. So I have another question here. Which regional markets are showing significant growth in the world?
Yeah. I mean, according to Spotify, Mexico City is the #1 market in the world, which is amazing. You would think it might be New York or London or LA. No, it's Mexico City. And I've been to Mexico City and I see how much people consume music, or I've seen the audience, how they react at the show. To
Okay.
them, it's not just listening to music, it's a way of life. Um, Maybe in the US, we have many different forms to keep us occupied. There's just too many distractions. So music is one of them. But I go to other parts of the world and it's all about music. They're still, it's immersed in their culture, which is amazing. So you have many other different countries or even cities that music can be very impactful. Chartmetric, we analyzed that and we came up with about 30 something cities. We call them trigger cities, meaning if an artist has an impact in any of those cities, it actually spreads a lot quicker than many other parts. And most of those trigger cities are actually in emerging markets. We have a lot of articles on our website that show that. But this couldn't happen 20 years ago, when it was a physical era. And, you needed the infrastructure, distribution, be able to have physical in those markets. Now you just need a loyal, strong fan base to build on that. And we see that all around the world, which is fantastic. So, the biggest growth comes from now Korea, Latin America, all over Latin America, which is amazing. And it's not just major labels, but independent artists as
Right.
well.
Right.
Afrobeats from Africa is blowing up. I think Brazil is going to have a huge growth. Japan, it's developing more on a global scale now too. So you're going to see a lot of very interesting types of music coming from really cool parts of the world, in the future, continuing the trend.
Interesting. Please remember us where the people is listening us, where can find your website.
Yes, of course. It's pretty easy, chartmetric.com. And we have many different types of signups. If you want to look at it, there is a trial version as well. We have a paid tier that you get access to everything. But if you only an artist and you just want to look at your profile, we have a very affordable price tier just to get full access to your own artist profile. So meaning you don't have to invest, very heavy monthly fees to be able to access it. We do have something that's affordable on that as well. And we're getting a lot of signups from many interesting parts of the world. Like we can see that now people care about building up their audience, building up their career, building up the platforms that works. And I'm always open to input as well. Like before we were told everything on Chartmetric is in English. So last year we introduced 7 other languages, Spanish being one of them. So you sign up, switch to Spanish language, and everything is in Spanish in Chartmetric. So make it easy to, be able to understand and read.
Good. I have another question, Andreas. What metrics
Oh, yes,
are the most relevant for measuring and what is success?
totally. Great question. We try to collect from many sources as possible. Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, Deezer, Instagram, X or Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, and hopefully we're going to keep bringing more and more and more and more. But these seem to be the main ones. They're also great because many of them cover the whole globe. And not only you see data points as of now, but we have historical as well, so you can see your progress.
Right.
We combine them together so you can see which one is benefiting the most. You can compare yourself with other artists, see maybe how they're doing other things that makes them successful to kind of take care of that. So multiple insights, multiple metrics. You can really get lost
Sure.
looking at that. And in some cases, we go super granular. Like, not only we tell you where your audience is, but the demographic of your audience. Is it male? Is it female? What age bracket they belong? What's their predominant language? So as you're starting to develop your marketing campaigns, you have a really good understanding about your audience at the same time as well. So yeah, it can go really, really deep. And we acknowledge that, you know, getting into data analytics, it may have like a, like a learning steep curve. So we offer training sessions. Obviously, we have a lot of videos to show how to use Chartmetric, but someone just says, hey, I just signed up. Can you give me like a training session? We'll do that for free. You just request it. Someone from our support team is going to reach out to you and then provide some training as well, because we really want whoever uses Chartmetric or any data point to understand how they can maximize, all the data analysis that they do.
And what about this? What are the common mistakes do artists or labels make when interpreting streaming and social media?
I wouldn't call it a mistake, but I would just say try and get a holistic picture as much as possible.
Okay.
Let's say if you're just looking at your Spotify streams, is it because I was added to a playlist? Is it because, I perform a show and people now are interested? And if I got a lot of streams this month, how do I maintain that? How do I build on that? And if Spotify is working, is any other platform working for me? Is it Instagram? Is it TikTok? Is it something else? So how do you see what's working, build on that, but eventually start connecting the dots all around as well? We found that the artists that have long-term sustainable careers is as they develop on a holistic growth. If you get added to a new Music Friday playlist, it can be great for that week, but how do I maintain that? Where do I go from here for next week? After my song is off that playlist, let's say, or if I get to perform at the festival, how do I maximize that? How do I take that and build in other areas and become sustainable? So look at that, look at engagement, try and develop in as many platforms as possible. And like I said at the beginning, if you get a bit of traction, it's easier to build on that. Once you get movement and activity, things kind of compound and develop from there. So I would suggest look at the big picture always. I also have artists telling me that they just prefer to be in the studio, writing music. I'm here because I want to create music. I don't want to be a business person. I don't want to be a marketing person. But at the end of the day, I always say, if you create music, it's also important to find the right audience. And your music more than anyone else. So
Yeah.
I always recommend try and engage with that audience as much as possible. Create that relationship, because nothing speaks more to your fans than having the artist speaking to them directly as well. And then the more you understand your audience, I think the more value you can create that comes from your music as well. And I also, I work with many musicians in my career. I see the satisfaction when fans come to me and say, hey, your music spoke to me, directly. So I think creating that relationship is beneficial for the artist as well.
Thank you. Well, as you know, my company is named La Marca Lab, so we work for brands. We work for marcas. And I have a question for you here. What can brands learn from music industry? Music industry data when selecting artists for sponsorship?
Yeah, we get that question a lot. So what we did, we started following the followers of the artists, and we see what else they like. It's easy. Social media made it a lot easier to see that. So if someone likes Peso Pluma, what else do they like as well? So we started creating brand associations of artists in our system. So very quickly, when you look at an artist profile, you can also find out what brands, it's liked or followed by their audience too. And we have a list of about 100 brands per artist, but we have thousands of brands in our system. So that you can very quickly find out the association, and from there it becomes a lot easier to kind of build around that. At the same time, you can tell based on the kind of music, based on the level of music, you kind of create from experience brands that might relate to that. But I always recommend our brand section, which is something we've been building for years, as a very first step to look into.
And what insights have you observed regarding the effectiveness of brand and artist collaborations?
I mean, I do some workshops at conferences, and I have brand managers coming to me from either music companies or just outside the world, and they tell me that it's very, very useful. It really creates a quick understanding of what the audience of the artist might like, and it kind of lets them build from there. And it can be anything, it can be from, I don't know, beverages to other music entities, guitar equipment. I mean, you just never know. It can be anything and everything, but it allows you to really pinpoint the targeted audience and build from there. Also, another benefit, if you look at other similar artists we have in our system, then you see what brands they like, and very quickly you have a very long list to begin with.
Wow. So we can measure also the compatibility of brand and artists, right?
Yes, very much so. We also have the reverse. We have brands pages. So you can go look at, let's say, Coca-Cola on Chartmetric and see which artists have the closest affinity to Coca-Cola. So we do the reverse as well. So you have many starting points in Chartmetric. Yeah.
Now let's talk about FIM, Feria Internacional de la Música en Guadalajara, Mexico. It's going to be next February. And I would like to ask you why. Well, Chartmetric is a very important brand that is supporting FIM here in Guadalajara. So the question is, why have you think that it's a good idea to be sponsored in the Feria Internacional de la Música en Guadalajara?
Yeah, I mean, I've been to FIM before in Mexico many times. One, Guadalajara is a great place to visit, nice and warm as well, especially February from New York. Gives me a couple of days of break. But in addition to meeting a lot of industry professionals from Mexico in one place, it's very international as well. I met associations from Australia, from Canada, from Europe. So it's almost becoming like a global hub, all in one place. The way it's structured is amazing. You have your sessions in the morning, that can be panels, it can be workshops, it can be presentations, but then they have the live aspect, artists performing, so you get to discover some cool music. Mexico is probably top 10, I would say top 6 market in the world when it comes to music, and you have many, many, many different styles. So I always discover something cool and new and exciting when I come to Mexico because it's so creative as well. But FIM provides an infrastructure for the music industry in Mexico, and I've seen this on many occasions. Countries that are successful in having global impact is when not only the music is there, but the infrastructure is behind it to help push it to the global scale. I mean, K-pop might be a very prime example as well, that the government got behind it, labels, from Korea got behind it and really put a lot of effort in developing artists on a global scale. So I think FIM provides a very key, valuable, effective way of really supporting music, not only within Mexico, but help it get global as well. And it's one of the most diverse conferences I've been to in a very long time. So it's very enjoyable and very professional too. Usually when I present, I ask, my only request is like, I have a lot of data, so give me like a screen big screen so people can read the data. And I was given a movie theater. It's the biggest screen I've ever presented to. So film took my request seriously, very professional. And it was one of the best workshops I've done in a long time. And I usually start with slides about the country, using data to show about the music in the country. And the growth for Mexico was very, very strong. And I'm sure when I do it next time, we're going to see a lot of double-digit growth as well. So all in all, yeah, it's a great experience.
And what about the visitors? What would you say to visitors? What they will find in film, and what are those benefits that they are going to enjoy visiting film?
Yes. I also suggest outside of the conference, spend some time to see the city too, because it's a great place to spend that. Two, make up a list of looking at the program and the agenda of what you want to attend, what panels, what workshops. But at the center, it's a great social network. You know, once you go through the entrance right there where everyone congregates, I met a lot of new people just by walking around and say hi to them and looking where they're coming from. So network, socialize, see what other, social events are happening, mostly shows. Try and attend those to see what great music is coming from that market. And like I said, it's very global. So in addition to meeting professionals from Mexico, you're probably going to meet a lot of industry professionals from other parts of the world too. I mean, I got invited to many countries just by being just coming to film. I'll probably have a list of, long list of other countries I was invited to go, and visit them as well. So immerse yourself into that experience. And I would say at least 2 to 3 days. And then the last day that has a big event with the live shows, try and do that too, because that's amazing at the same time.
Yes, I would like to ask you that. You know that Porta America is going to be the last event in film. It's going to be Los Angeles Azules, no, playing
Yes.
some other artists. So, what is your opinion about Porta America as a live show? The chefs, no, all the enjoyable experience that we have there. What would you say about it?
Yeah, very high level, very, very high level stuff. Watching and experiencing a live show in Mexico, it's an experience like nowhere else. The audience itself is very immersed, but in addition to the show, it was very well organized. And like you said, even the other auxiliary areas that you offer, amazing food because high-end chefs, the drinks, the whole thing was very well thought out. I highly, highly recommend for anyone that's visiting to stay and experience that as well. You're going to live with a lot of really good memories from that.
Thank you, Andreas. I'm going to ask you two more questions. What
Sure.
about AI and the future of music?
I remember when Napster started in music, and it had a very big impact in music. I mean, it decimated music for a while, and it had a big dip, and it took a while to come back out of it. It took the music 20 years to hit in terms of revenue where it was before. From 2001, it was almost like 2021 before it hit that level again, but it came back much, much stronger. At the same time, at the beginning, the music industry resisted those changes. AI is going to bring a lot to the table. It would be good if we have those conversations early on and figure it out together versus resisting technology. It's going to be very difficult to stop that. So how do we utilize it better so the artists benefit from that versus, getting impacted negative? And what's the best way to utilize AI? In our case, we're going to make data analytics a lot easier for someone to digest and comprehend, and also maybe provide some action items. In the studio, it might make it easier, to mix, produce, I don't know, master music. But at the same time, there is a concern that AI may start replicating music from other known musicians. and those musicians might not benefit. You know, there's a lot of unknowns there, but we need to start a conversation. We should be able to have that healthy discussion, answer it together, find the best way to build this and move from there, because technology always has pros and cons, but I've seen when technology has been used for the advantage of the music, and it has been very beneficial. If it wasn't technology, music wouldn't be global. Social media wouldn't help artists grow on this level. So let's work on the pros and see how we can work on the negatives at the same time.
Great, thank you. As a CEO, as a leader in Chartmetric, what recent discovery or insight has surprised you the most in this industry?
Oh, for sure. I mean, Sam, who's the founder of Chartmetric, has been building up this product from scratch. I'm more on the business side and I help with the strategy and everything else. I've seen how much Chartmetric itself has changed in 3 years since I've joined, and that's because of the change of the industry and the needs of the industry professionals that use Chartmetric. They just need to analyze everything in so many different levels, but in many cases, they want to be able to see all the metrics in one place, see what's connected, what's not connected, and build from there. Why? Everyone works with limited resources. I work with a limited budget for my marketing. There's only so many hours in the day. There's only so many markets I can reach out. So I have to put my best investment and my best efforts where I can get my best return as much as possible. So it's helping you get smart with your decisions and very efficient and get the best results possible, because even the biggest artist in the world, Taylor Swift, she's been touring for 2 years and there's still countries she was not able to visit. You know what I mean? Like, and it took her 2 years to do all those shows. So everyone has limited resources, and you have to invest where it's possible. So that's what we're trying to do. Now, we're adding AI into the conversation. We're trying to help you very quickly analyze and understand what's working so you can take decisions a lot easier. Maybe we can help you suggest where to go from here as well. We're trying to give you insights that you may not see on your own profile, but you have on other artist profiles. So learn from other artist experiences as well. So, I mean, all kinds of questions. If you're an A&R, help you find and discover the right artists. If you're marketing, help me and build the right plan. If you're a small artist, help you get to the next level. If you're a huge artist, help you get even more, established. So yeah, music challenges never end. It's always exciting, and to me, that's what makes it special. But it's always about learning, improving, and just going to the next step.
Thank you. My last question to you, please tell me, what advice would you give music industry professionals regarding the use of data and market intelligence? What would you say?
Yes, great question. I just want to clarify again that it's all about music. Quality of music should be always there. To me, you need a great song. You need to work with great talented artists. That's always the key. Data is there to help and support and build on that. Meaning, I went to a show and I saw a new artist and I thought they were amazing. Should I sign them? It's up to you. Maybe come to Chartmetric, look into their profile, see their data points, see if there's anything there. Figure out what's their audience, what's working for them, top markets. That can help you make maybe a bit more educated decision. But if you really like an artist and you want to sign them, just go for it. All we're here is to support you, make decisions maybe on a more educated area. And like I said before, things are so complex, things are so global. Artists are working with limited resources. There's only so much you can do in a day. So hopefully we help you pinpoint where to navigate, what to do next, where to grow. And if something really reacts online, let's say you have a song by an influencer that's connecting on TikTok, the sooner you find about that and the sooner you get behind it, the more results you can have, because things move quickly and you don't want to find out 6 months after. You want to know right away if that happens. So all I say is just like, utilize data, understand it, see what works best for you, and hopefully that can help you, develop those careers of the artists that you represent, or if you're an artist yourself, build your career, with the best tools possible. But we try to make data as accessible and easy for everyone in the music industry. At the end of the day, if you're in the music industry and you want to understand where you stand, hopefully Chartmetric would even the playing field for everyone that's involved.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Andreas. Thank you for this time. And I will see you next February here in Guadalajara.
Sergio, this was amazing. Thank you so much. Looking forward, and I'll see you all in a couple of months.
Okay.
Exciting.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. You too. Bye-bye. Take care.